in sales, you are getting objections. This video is going to talk about a common objection if you're doing phone sales right now. But before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so that you can get up-to-date videos as soon as they're released. So let's talk about this objection that you're going to get if you're on the phone. You're going to get somebody that's going to say, why am I getting so many calls from your company? If you're in insurance sales, you're going to get that phone call, even if it's someone that went on your website and filled out a lead, because they're getting bombarded by so many phone calls. So first of all, why are they saying this? Let's talk about why they're saying this to you. Why am I getting so many phone calls from your company? See, a lot of agents think that right now when that person says that, that means that they don't want to talk anymore. That is incorrect. What they're doing is they're trying to find out why you're calling them. And most agents think that they have to close the person right then and there by telling them how great they are and how great their company is and why they filled out a lead form, and that's why they're getting phone calls. But guess what? They're getting phone calls from everybody else, and everybody else is telling them the exact same thing. You have to be different than everybody else out there. So I've talked about this in other objection videos, is that your job as a salesperson is not to close the person right now on this phone call. There's no magical word that you're going to say that's going to say, oh, okay, great. Now I understand why I'm getting so many phone calls. Let's have a conversation right now. No, your job is just to move that conversation forward. So when somebody says, why am I getting so many phone calls from your company? We always want to agree with them. We want to state their first name so we can try to connect with them. State the facts, acknowledge what the situation is, and then just jump right into your discovery questions. One of the big mistakes sales agents make is once they go ahead and respond to rebuttal, they stop for a second and they wait for the individual to respond back to them. As soon as you do that, you're done. You can't do that. You have to continue the conversation and you have to deflect from what they're asking. So let's get into this one right now. Why am I getting so many phone calls from your company? So the first thing we want to say is this, is we want to go ahead and we want to say that is a great question, Joe. It appears that we helped you in the past with some form of insurance. Let me verify that I have the right information. Let me ask you a question. See, what we just did right there is we just answered their question, but we went ahead and deflected to move that conversation forward. So let me start that again. Why am I getting so many phone calls from your company? That's a great question, Joe. It appears that we helped you in the past with some form of insurance. Let me verify that I have the right information. Let me ask you a question. See what I just did right there? I didn't say that we helped them in the past. It appears that we helped them in the past. So what you're doing right now is you're just trying to move that conversation forward so you can get into your discovery questions, into your qualification stage to see if you can help them out. So that is the key to going ahead and answering this question is just go ahead, because if you end up telling them, well, you filled out a lead form on our website, they're going to say, well, I didn't do that. And then where do you go from there? Just make it general and move that conversation forward. So you don't want to get confrontation, you don't want to get adversarial, just very, very quick and move the conversation forward. So one last time, why am I getting so many phone calls from your company? Take notes on this response. That's a great question, Joe. It appears that we helped you in the past with some form of insurance. Let me verify that I have the right information. Let me ask you a question. Boom. See how natural that was? See how that just moved the conversation forward? Now let's say you've got somebody that's difficult on the phone and they do not want to move forward. Like, wait a minute, no, you have to tell me first how you got my information before I will continue this phone call. They get a little bit more stubborn. So what they're doing right now is they're not saying, again, that they will not continue the phone call. That's a big mistake sales agents make. They start getting adversarial with the person. You have to go ahead and you have to deflect it to try to move it forward. So if that stall continues and they're like, I'm not going to continue this conversation until you tell me how you got my information, here's how you can respond to that. I hear you, Joe. I can hear your frustration. So let me stop right there. You see what I just did? I hear you, Joe. I can hear your frustration. But I don't believe there's any coincidence in life. See what I'm doing right now is I'm empathetic to what they're going through. I can hear their frustration because they are frustrated. So I hear you, Joe. I can hear your frustration, but I don't believe there are any coincidences in life. I believe the universe meant for us to connect today. If you could be kind enough to give me a couple minutes of your time, let's find out why the universe actually did that. Let me ask you a question. Boom! Move that conversation forward, because when they're being stubborn, you have to attack the emotional side of that individual in order to go ahead and turn them around. If you start trying to attack the logical side, which the logical side is, this is how I got your lead, this is how I got your information, you're going to lose because you have to hit the emotional side. So again, if they end up coming back and saying, I'm not moving forward with this conversation until you tell me how you got my information, what I need to do at that point right now is I've got to hit the emotional side. I hear you, Joe. I can hear your frustration, but I don't believe there's any coincidence in life. I believe the universe actually meant for us to connect today. So if you could be kind enough to give me a couple minutes of your time, let's find out actually why the universe did that. Let me ask you a question. Boom. Move that conversation forward. So now you are armed right now with exactly what to say when that person actually ends up telling you, why am I getting so many calls from your company? You now know how to respond back to that stall initially. If they still don't want to move forward, you have to tackle the response emotionally. So now that you've got that, when that comes up again, take notes, make this a muscle memory for you, and go out there today and be a rock star when someone throws you this actual objection.